Hello on guys, welcome to another prediction video. Today we're going to be doing the AFC South, and I just want to start off by saying I think it's pretty obvious about which teams are going to win the AFC South and who it's going to be a battle between. And that being said, I'm going to do also, before the season starts, an actual, like, these 7 teams will make I have making the playoffs, and these 7 teams, or for the AFC and for the NFC. But I want to start off, I'm going to dive right into the Colts. I think that it's going to be pretty easy for the Colts to win this division. They got a lot better this offseason. They traded Carson Wentz away, who, while wasn't the worst quarterback in the world, I think by watching his performances last year, it's very obvious he's not the best. I think their defense is amazing. They have one of, if not the best O-line in the entire league, and one of the best, if not the best, offensive linemen in the entire league with Quentin Nelson. And then diving into like the record, I just want to announce the rules. I have, because it's so hard to predict splitting, I have the home team winning. And so I think that it's going to be like a little bit harder to predict and a little bit less likely. And this prediction I'm using on PFF is not actually accurate based on their schedule. So I'll give their accurate record at the end of like explaining. But diving right in, I explained these. I think more accurately, this is going to be a win between the Colts against the Texans, if I'm being honest. I know I announced that they were going to lose at the home field advantage, but the Texans are just not good. So I have the Texans, or I have them starting off 0-1 or 1-0, and then they always play bad in Duval for some reason, so they're going to lose. I don't think they'll be able to compete with the Chiefs, unfortunately. I think they'll be able to beat the Titans. The Broncos, I don't have them being able to beat, though. I just don't see it. And then they'll be able to sneak a win here. And then, again, as I explained, I think that this is another area that's very likely to have split, but I doubt that it's going to be a sweep here. So they win against the Titans, and then I think that they'll beat the Washington Commanders. I don't think that the Commanders are as good as everyone is acting like. Ever since they got Carson Wentz, like, yes, the Commanders have a nutty defense when it works, but I just don't think they're that good. I think that they'll beat the Patriots because I don't think the Patriots are going to be very good this year. And I think it's more likely that the Raiders will win, I feel like, because the Raiders just got so much better. But I feel like this could also be a win for the Colts. I feel like that they will beat the Eagles because even though I have the Eagles being really good, I don't think that the Eagles are going to be that good. I think if the Steelers play up to their opponents, the Colts will lose. I think if the Steelers play how they usually do against opponents, they'll win. So for here, I'll just actually give the Colts a win because I feel like this is going to be an easy win. Just depends. I think that the Colts will beat the Cowboys because I don't think that the Cowboys have been very good in this offseason. I think this offseason was actually pretty bad for them. I have them beating the Vikings because I think the Vikings are a little bit, not overrated, but I think that people are putting their expectations a little bit too high for the Vikings. And then the Chargers, I just don't think that the Chargers will lose this game. The Giants, and then ending off with the Colts. And with that being said, this will put them at an 11-6 record. I think that this is a fairly likely record. Again, I feel like it depends on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is going to be one of the like key people for this team. If he can figure out how to get this team to work and he can play to perfection and his arm works, I feel like it'll be likely that they win the division, but I'm not entirely confident in that. But this division is, for right now, I feel like the Colts to lose. Moving on, we have the Titans, and this is going to be a little bit harder for me to rank because I feel like the Titans aren't nearly as bad as everyone says that they are. People are acting like the Titans are now the worst team in the NFL because they traded away AJ Brown, which, gotta say, insane move by the Titans, but I don't think that they're nearly as bad as people are acting like they are. So yeah. Starting off, I have them beating the Giants. I think that this is a fairly obvious win for the Titans, even though the Giants have a new head coach. I don't think the Giants are going to be good this year at all. Then the Bills, I have the Giants, or the Titans losing to the Bills. I think that last year the Titans beating the Bills was just a fluke win, and the Titans just wanted it more. The Bills probably should have won that game, but Yeah, I have the Bills beating them, and then I have the Raiders beating them because I feel like that front offense or defensive line is going to be too good, and they're going to keep Derrick Henry down in yards, who I still have as winning the NFL rushing title, but I don't feel like he's going to be as good right away, coming off of a major injury and needing to recover. I feel like he's just not going to be nearly as good right away. I've already explained the division games. I think again, this is another example of the Titan or of a team beating the Washington Commanders. I feel like the Commanders are just going to be bad this year. Again, week 7's explanatory, week 8 is explanatory, and then week 9. I know last year that the Titans beat the Chiefs, but I don't think that the Chiefs are going to be as like unprepared for the Titans as they were last year. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be the best team in the AFC West, even though they have Patrick Mahomes. Spoiler alert from AFC West video, but I feel like the Chiefs this year coming up are going to be disappointing for a lot of people, and I feel like they might even blow my expectations out of the water. I'm not entirely sure. But I have the Chiefs winning here. The Broncos I have beating the Titans here. Their run defense is really good, and having the Titans, like when you stop their run game, Ryan Tannehill has to put the entire team on his back, and I just don't know if he could do it. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like that the Green Bay Packers are going to beat the Titans. The Green Bay Packers have a really good run defense now, and with having Kenny Clark some help finally, I feel like that they're going to be able to win against the Titans. Last time the Titans played the Packers held the Titans to, I believe it was like 60 rushing yards or something. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty good game for the Titans to lose. I have the Bengals beating the Titans again. I feel like this is one of those games where it's a toss-up for me. I feel like the Titans could win this game, but as of right now, I just don't see it. And then I feel like the Eagles are going to beat the Titans because that rush game is going to be just too much for the Titans, I feel like. Yeah, so looking at the rest of this, the only other team that I need to explain is the Chargers and the Cowboys. I feel like the Titans will easily beat the Cowboys. I'm not like sleeping on the Cowboys, but their receiving core is mid at best. It's going to be middle of the road. Dak Prescott can play like a top 10 quarterback, but other times he doesn't play like a top 10 quarterback. And I don't know what their defense is, and I don't think their secondary is going to be nearly as good as people are acting like it's going to be with how it was last year. And then the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers are going to beat the Titans. This is one of those games where I could see the Chargers charging it up or just messing up the game. I just don't see how anyone could put the Titans above the Chargers, but hey, I might be shocked and the Chargers might actually lose this game. Moving on, we have the Jaguars. I don't think that this team is going to be nearly as bad as they were last year. I feel like they're not going to have the number 1 overall pick, but I do feel like they're still going to be a top 5 pick. They have a better head coach this year who I'll give, and watching Trayvon Walker in his preseason debut was pretty good. I was very impressed with how he was playing. But yeah, so I feel like they're going to start off 1-0 or 0-1. And then this is a game where I feel like that they're only going to win because of how bad the Colts are in Duval for whatever reason. So, but I don't actually have confidence in the Colts here, or in the Jaguars here. I feel like the Jaguars could actually lose this game. They're not likely to, but they could actually lose this game. And then I have the Chargers and Eagles beating them. Again, I think that these two teams are going to be good this year, and I feel like that they're just going to be easy wins for these two teams. The Chargers, I feel like, have one of the best rosters in the league right now, and that defense is just going to eat up Trevor Lawrence, that's his name. I forgot his name for a second. Yeah, I just feel like they're just gonna eat up Trevor Lawrence. Yes, the Jaguars signed Brandon Sheriff, but I feel like one key piece to the offensive line is not going to stop that defense. And then I feel like a game where the Giants or the Jaguars could win is against the Giants. I feel like the Giants are just going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And then the Broncos and Raiders and Chiefs are all just, I feel like these are going to be blowout games. But if I had to like choose one game, I feel like the most likely game is going to be the Broncos or the Raiders for the loss. I don't think the Chiefs will lose against the Jaguars. I feel like even though I don't have high hopes for the Chiefs this year, I feel like the Jaguars are not a team that could beat the Chiefs. And then I have the Ravens beating the Jaguars, and then in an upset win, I have the Lions beating the Jaguars too. I feel like this team, just looking at these records that I have, I just don't see any games here that I would feel comfortable with the Jaguars winning, other than the ones that I have picked, and other than the divisional games. Like, let's just take away the divisional games for a minute. I feel like the only team that the Jaguars even have a hope in beating, in sweeping in their division, is the Texans, and I don't even have confidence in that. I think the Texans have the second or first worst roster in the entire league, and I just don't feel confident in the Jaguars being able to sweep them. That being said, I do feel like acting like the Jaguars are going to be the worst team in the NFL is going to be crazy, but yeah. And then finally, I'm going to end with the Houston Texans. I feel like, as I already mentioned, this team is just bad. I don't even feel confident giving them this, like the same rules that I applied for the Colts and the Titans and every other divisional game. I don't feel confident that they will beat pretty much any of these teams. I do not see them beating the Colts at all. I don't see it at home. I feel like they're just going to get embarrassed at home. The Broncos will smoke them, and the Bears, who have a bad roster, will also smoke them. I don't see it. Now, if I'm trying to like look for games here where I could see the Texans maybe winning, and seriously, the only ones in my mind that I could see are against the Jaguars, and they always give the Titans a hard time. I don't see a single upset here. I think maybe, and this is really, I'm not confident in this, maybe the Bears, but again, I doubt it, and I think maybe the Texans, or the Washington Commanders, but I don't like the Giants. I think the Giants have one of the worst rosters in the league, and I don't think that they'll beat the Giants. Like, I don't see a confidence. Their ceiling, honestly, for me, is like 5 wins max. I just don't see it. But yeah, that's so at the end of the rankings, I have the Colts winning the division, followed by the Titans. I have the Colts finishing 11-6 or 10-7. I have the Titans finishing 9-8 to 10-7 to 6, and at the lowest, I have them finishing 6-11. But I very seriously doubt that. It's going to be more likely 9-8 or 8-9. I have the Jaguars finishing 4-13. I don't see any games that they could win. Honestly, I have the Texans finishing with a record of 2-15 or 5-11. I don't see these teams being good. Like the teams that I think it's fairly obvious the Colts are going to win this division. I think taking any like a look at it and acting like the Colts aren't going to win this division, it's just making you crazy. And like, I don't know. But yeah, so that's about all I got. Thanks, guys.